In one of the best interviews that I personally have ever seen on The Daily Show, Asif Manvi was talking with Don Yelton, the former North Carolina GOP precinct chair, about the voting ID law that they had there.
A specific town. What's the name of the town or the county?
Bolcom County.
Bolcom County. There you go. Oh, yeah.
I'm from North Carolina. So
oh, there you go.
Let's go.
Okay, so if you watch the original video, he said all of these incredibly racist things, talking about the political purpose behind the voter ID law. And so he was eventually forced to step down. He resigned, forced to step down. And one of the radio stations in that area interviewed him and found out, are you apologetic about what happened? Now, right off the bat, he does believe that they selectively edited it a little bit to make him look bad, which I question, but he said that The Daily Show created an illusion that I was just personally had an agenda against the blacks, tried to make it talking about racism rather than the real issue of illegal voting. I've hired blacks before. My best friend is black.
Can I just say, when you put the pronoun in front of it, it's already wrong. The blacks. You've already stepped in it.
So I was going to ask you about that, actually, because that's like a funny thing, and it's like an old school thing, the blacks, right? The gays. But I was wondering if it was a North Carolina thing.
No, let me unequivocally tell you that, no, that's an ignorant thing. Yeah.
No, it's, and it's, I don't know which came first, but I mean, it's very frequently also the Jews.
And exactly.
Yeah. That's old school. That's even earlier.
That's even earlier. That's right. That's the.
And so Don was forced to step down, and though he believes that it was selectively edited, when the interviewer asked him, would you do it again? Are you apologetic? Do you regret what happened? He's not backing down at all. He says, no, I don't take back anything I said. Would I do it again? Yes, I would. And then the interviewer reiterates, was it worth it? And Yelton says, yeah, I found the truth. The truth is the GOP's got no guts.
Now, understand that he was not the former commissioner, is it?
Precinct chair.
Precinct chair when Asif Manvi was interviewing him. He was the current chair.
Exactly.
And then he had to step down afterwards because of the interview. Right. But he says he'd do that anyway, just to be able to say, those lazy blacks, we took their voting rights away, but I'm happy about it.
Right.
And he said, to be fair to him, and as I explained the other day on the show, he said if it were taken, if the college kids don't get a photo ID, as he said, I'm fine with it. Whites don't get it, I'm fine with it. Lazy blacks who want to live off the government, it's not a qualifier you put among for the whites.
I think he did refer to the college kids as lazy also, for whatever it's worth.
Yeah.
But some of those are black. So,
yes, they are. Thank you for acknowledging that, Ben. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he said, and my two favorite parts of the interview is Asif says to him, I mean, law is not racist, right? And he pauses for a long time, and he's like, and he says, you're not racist, right? He's like, well, I have been called a bigot.
I've been called a bigot.
That's actually my favorite part of it, because what I like about that, and the common, you always hear it when you talk to a racist, why do black people get to use these phrases? I want to use them. Right, it's not just that they want to live in a world where they can think these things. They want desperately to be able to openly and publicly talk about it. And that's why even when he could have easily concealed his bigoted past, he wanted to bring it up, knowing that he's being interviewed by this major media outlet. Like, they have this desire to go back to the time when it was just a normal thing to talk about.
Yeah, they a couple of great moments in that interview. One of which was which he repeated in that radio interview, which is what he doesn't, which is one of my best friends is black, which is just an old
with the dramatic pause for effect.
Dramatic pause, and then during that, as he was getting ready to say it, Asif Manvi looked at the camera. Like he was like he's really about to say it's coming. He's coming.
That was probably edited in later, right? The Manvi look.
Could have been.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it's a two-camera shoot or not, but
but it's not doesn't change the context of what he said at all. It's just a little comedic effect that they put in later. So it's not to say that the interview wasn't edited. Of course, it's edited, right? But did it misconstrue what he was saying? Well, that's why we're giving you this interview, because apparently it didn't misconstrue it at all. He's doubling down, saying, "Yeah, I'm proud of it."
And then, of course, the greatest moment of all in the history of the interview was the. We can hear you.
That's exactly
and that goes actually to John's point. And he's like, oh yeah, I know. They don't want to have to be closeted in these bigoted beliefs. They don't want to have to feel like they have to conceal it. They really do want to go back to an America where this is the norm, this is the standard, and they're frustrated and pissed off, and that's why he calls the current GOP gutless, because he's like, you guys are not advocating this in the way that you need to, and it's sad.
I think also when he did that, we can't hear you. It was right in the middle of the rap talk and how black guys can say it, and he like repeated the word like 3 times. He was like and this and that, N-word this, N-word that.
Because he was so happy to be able to say it.
He was so right. He was like, I'm gonna say it 3 times.
How many times will they let me say it before they shut me up? Yeah, and that's the problem with people ever saying it, regardless of context, regardless of color of skin, because it's just too suspect, the intention behind it, always.
And so I want people to understand, like, so when we talked about him calling the blacks, right? That's the least of it. I mean, we're just pointing that out. Like,
but that was the beginning.
Right, but in the original interview, I mean, he used the N-word, as we pointed out, 3 times here. And to all of these points, and what Brent brought up, he said, like, I remember when we were growing up, we could say
right.
And he said the word.
Then he was like
Negroes.
Negro.
Yeah, it was more like Negroes.
Yeah,
he corrected himself.
It was such great.
I mean,
television.
there are definitely in America, you can still say this stuff openly, but you can only do it if you're a sheriff in the South or a conservative radio host. If you're a precinct chair, it's still off limits. That's the American.
Well, because again, they're still clinging to this notion that these incredibly restrictive voter ID laws are not founded in a way that's racially discriminatory. And for that argument to fly, you can't have this out here.
He also revealed, of course, what is completely true, which is that the law's designed to keep Democrats from voting.
Yeah.
He just said it.
Yeah.
Which again is the other thing that Republicans try to talk away from. It's like, no, it's just voter fraud. And that great other moment that Monty had of, 1 or 2. And he's like, 1 or 2 million?
That was
the guy's
really
like,
funny.
no, one or two. Yeah.